Greetings, fellow Ambazonians, and welcome to this platform. I will have to double check if I'm actually live because Facebook play games with us, and this is the first time I'm using my laptop to connect on this platform. So I will have to check it. That will take a short while. I think the technical staff also on. Wait, hold on. Okay, I have to make some adjustment. And I'll be back soon. Please just give me a while. The ACN will also be connecting me to the Ambazonian Communication Network. So please give me a while. There is a music I have to send to my phone through my phone. Okay, there we go. Okay. And okay, we'll be there very soon. Please just be patient a little bit. And I greet you all, our Ambazonian family at home abroad. The one the waiting there for inside bush, soldiers and IDPs. The one the waiting there for refugee camps for Europe, for Cyprus, for Greece, and the one the way they seek asylum because of this war for our independence. I want to salute you. And I say me all man come good for this platform. And I just give me a minute. Must set everything up and tell our technical team so that they will fit connect me for our TV. This one go be in a bedroom talk because I didn't have a bedroom for quarantine. So, but okay. Okay, at least I'm live now. I'll be monitoring it from here. So today my phone will be open also. So ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, today na number 4 day for this month of March 2021. Na me, Capo Daniel, FBI, Ambazonian, herbalist, whatever una dey call am, una countryman and all the names them wey dey call am. Na me this I don come today for una. As una see, I dey na for inside quarantine. Ma show una around una see. So for those people then we would then follow they follow me for a long time, would then become like one big Ambazonian family. Some of una they call me day and night for salute me how a day. And I will be concerned also about updates for Ambazonia. I want for just salute una and for say I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the love and affection what they get and for our people then during this very strong time for this phase for our liberation and this time for our history. So today I don't come online, we don't get very, very big victory for Bamenda. I will tell when I say once we will come back after the launch for the stabilization force, we will come back for Bamenda and things that will change. And when I see how things that will change. And since we will withdraw forces, then Bamenda, me then go for that stabilization, nothing nobody happen. It be testament for the fact say now we be the major force for inside Bamenda and would encourage all man me them pick up stick for defend homeland. It no matter say now we dey or how many people then they would encourage me more people than fight because the more people that they fight, the less job it could do for we. Would they still mobilize, would they still recruit, and would they still arm. And be so happy for this good news. I will tell us would expect some targeted attacks for La Republic, their control points and for inside Bamenda for take them out. And we don't do just that today. I want to congratulate our soldiers and for the Bamenda Brigade and the commander them for the squad where they carry out the attack for hospital roundabout and another attack where they carry out for Bengui Road Day will be successful. So all man be welcome. Today the title for this particular episode na breaking the fascist chain of new colonialism in Ambazonia. Breaking the fascist chain of new colonialism in Ambamenda. In breaking the fascist chain of new colonialism over us in Ambazonia. So I go to take una through the diplomatic things the way they go on. I will talk also about the German parliamentarian way and be outspoken, the word with the international community, they communicate for we and we to communicate for them. Unfortunately, diplomacy in a thing where the governing council in need to use them for our constituency for mobilize people. They do them very secretly, but I go they try for give on a window for which way they think and which way our SS Larry Ayamba the think as well as the diplomatic team we will get them from Ambazonia, the president of the governing council, the governing council's approach of things, our international partners, OMPO, and the firms and the law firms the way they help the governing council for advance and defend Ambazonian interests. I will give you a sneak peek. But first, as usual for this show, they always start with a song where they take up to welcome all Monday where they watch with for Facebook, and it will be interactive show today. I will leave my line open for anybody where they for ground zero where you want call, when if you call me directly. As una know very much, I've been a man way, I've been our own countryman. I've been a boy with them born me for Boya. I grew for inside Bamenda. I've been a Bamenda boy, Popo Bamenda boy. And I've been a strong lover for our capital Boya and for all our people then for the Atlantic state from Miselele in particular. I get so many friends then for Tico, Miselele, all those CDC farm them up. I get a lot of friends then for the. I get a lot of people then too for that side for Tombe. Tombe, a lot of followers then for this show, then live for Tombe. I think in the ACN, I go try for push the directors them and the technical staff, maybe we'll do a polling so that many people that they call for ground zero will know who side will get more viewers or not. Will they get some some statistics for viewership and it shows it go very high, especially as the other channel they don't go off air, but they go find for me people that they get an idea for where people they come out will get huge following for Bamenda. I think for Bamenda I will not there is no debate. I've been a Bamenda boy, so naturally I get a lot of Bamenda supporters them and also our people they were then there for diaspora too, then be very crucial. I wanna come good. So I go play music where it really represent me. You wanna know my spirit already, the spirit of sense past king. And this music, just speaking the quarter. I love children. I really love my childhood. I had a wonderful time, as most of our people then they don't get a wonderful childhood for grew up Ambazonia. Childhood na it build the character of anybody and us as a people. The way we grow up in Ambazonia, that unique way. We for play tabala, for play doshin, for play hide and seek, for go play football for quarter, come back, mommy beat you for go for go dig go cut and cook. You dey run house wey chop, they don't cook chop. You dey go find and cook, go cut bush butter. That is our game, you know. When una dey come for quarter, they dey share bonbon. You dey go do a packet for take bonbon for your friend. You dey play awa, you play sizo, and you dey play tabala, and all those things them for our childhood. Now the uniqueness where it make who we will be where to will be. It make and we identify with each other and they always try for bring them for now so that maybe we embrace during this period for our nation building and our liberation, maybe we connect for that level. So this song it be dedicated for my childhood and the childhood of all Ambazonian, especially the one that we then live abroad, will then be very crucial for develop back home and the miss home. So hope this song, I think it's from Uganda. I hope say all na that play song with the stick, drum and all those stuff. Play guitar with the boss go for melt, tie rope day, play a guitar ding ding ding. So one day we did make na did bend mulongo tie wire for day. Begin play a song, how they call it? Dun, 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 dun. So I want to welcome Oman. I see Lore is online. I welcome you, and Oman way you don't join me. My phone line is they on today. I think Franklin they online, Nikki Ja they online, June Domo, welcome. I want to welcome Oman way join me online. When I come good, Oman place day shake day. I see Ben Sap also he don't join. Many people they don't join. Now very late for Ambazonia now, and for Europe I hope say or they will watch me later. I see progress he don't join. Greetings. The other pikin dey cut am. Hey! I remember time I be small pikin. I be sabi dance. I be dey dance. If una dey for Bamenda, una be don hear about Emabubu. Na me dey be call like Emabubu. We be dance compete with Chaya Magic, Jalo, all those big star wey dey don come to live in a star dem will dance. So, na the girl dey show am. That girl dey dance. I should say Emaku, inside Emaku dey make am see some girl wey dey dance like him. Fabrice, welcome, and this one na just a new platform, so would expect say a lot of people they go eventually catch up. So people there. They don't suspend my main account for 30 days. So until that one will be back, we could use this one like an alternative. See that chap, see him. Hey, ding, 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 ding. Hey, that pikin dey show am. I remember when I be grow up, that's how I be the dance so quarter. When they put music, they say Usa Emabobo de me can show am. At the council and dengue. Hey, when I ask people there, they be go GB. Now when they be dismiss me for BHS Manford, I go na St. Paul, go ride this to St. Paul. I think I've done 1 year for GPHS. We've been a big star then for that time, I think. Big star. Anybody know me for Bamenda very well. When I know Emabobo na Capo Daniel. Hey! Yeah. Hey! Show guy! Yeah. So I don't know where did that enter my eye today, but I'm only human. Our crew welcome as well for house. So fellow Ambazonian, fellow Southern Cameroonians, good citizens of Ambazonia, we are all welcome today with me, Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonia Defense Forces, and una activist, una Ambazonian FBI, would I make a commitment for this show for always bring una the truth and nothing but the truth, because the truth is so important, especially in a struggle like ours, where the magnitude it be very huge, the impact it be very huge, the humanitarian crisis it be very real, as well as the oppression from La Republic it be very real. The threat from for our people then it be very very real. So at this moment it be very important make una know where to be the truth, and would work would fight against an enemy will be highly sophisticated, it be highly financed, it be highly motivated. So we need to know the truth even this time more than ever before. So I want to salute all man for ground zero where una dey watch me for una TV through the Ambazonian Communication Network. For thank una for listen for me today, for bring me for inside una parlor, for through una television, I salute una mami them. papa dem, pikin dem for compound, all man wey dey watch we know say we dey live for some time wey e be dangerous even for here for our own pikin dem wey dey talk about wetin wey all we want am wey na independent. Una need for close door sometime. Una dey even fear for talk for any kind man me know say una dey watch ACN because e don be na some secret thing for we wey e be na a mainstream na thing wey all we dey for house. E dey remind me for the time wey you dey read for Bible how they dey talk how the Israelite people dem that way they be dey for slavery for Egypt. They be dey talk about their hope for freedom. Say one day God go remember their prayer, He go give them freedom. E be like secret inside them. Time wey the Egyptian they be here say dem get some person wey fit help them. Dem come kill plenty pikin dem. Na say they be take am born Moses na for inside Kenya, push am for water, he go grow na for inside the Pharaoh, the palace. Na say dem take am save his life. So na the same thing wey we dey face am for Ambazonia today. Wey our freedom, our history, e be now like secret wey we dey do am dey hide as the master dey waka around, the ekelebe dey waka for our street. You no know who e go report you. But all man dey for a heart, e hold our dream for a free nation very strongly for a heart. And I see some person that can put this scammer, ma delete am. Una know say plenty scammer dem dey now for internet, even for telephone. Make una be careful. There is send picture for money for fool people like say na people wey dem get some magic wey dey fit make money. Money no easy. Money dey come only when you work hard. When una see this kind people, dem wey dey talk about money for internet, so una block them. Make una no listen. Otherwise, they go come make una 419 carry una plenty money wey una don work hard go with am. So I will delete that man wey don put that thing say Illuminati or whatever they put am for there. Make una no believe. So my fellow country people, make I know of our change topic. Begin follow this. Yeah, people the way dem dey for here for distract we. Make we go for the topic for today. So the topic today na for break the fascist chain of new colonialism. For break that bondage wey they don hold we dey wey no fit comot for this trap wey dey with la republic. I go bring am today for una. But we don see say a lot of things that go on for the diplomatic cycle wey dey favor we. Plenty so we no fit talk am all. But I go try to bring some important one them can show am for una, especially one the way concerned with this topic for today. But first, I want to celebrate the big victory we don get am for inside Bamenda. For congratulate the Bamenda Brigade. I clap for them, I cut them cafe. All our generals, our commander, our foot soldier for Bamenda, they don bring me good news today how they don successfully carry out a surgical attack for a hospital roundabout with some La Republique, their post where they always can stand up for them, they harass our bike people them, stand up for them, they collect money for our taxi men them, stand up for them, begin charge people them where they never do anything, look people their telephone, begin make them people that no fit live freely. They don't target that terrorist post, they don't bomb them surgically when the military people them for La Republique, they just come for them with motor, they can't drop them, they won't come out. Now way they hit the bomb, it boom. He don't carry one, we say one, he don't die so plus for on the place. One, he don't die at I think about 3 then they in critical situation for day, and then carry them go up straight for station. Now why that way we need the CC die body them again for inside Bamenda mortuary because they hide their die body them. So all man fit see which way it happen. We also then successfully carry out another bomb attack again for that side for Bengui Road. We don't tell them say we no go give them any free passage. They don't bring many even their general Kawe be there for inside Bui. We just say don't come for inside Bamenda with all that troops them. But still we show them say we will continue for attack them. We will continue for neutralize them. We don't get better. We're arsenal them now. So make una no worry. This month, from this month, I be tell una say we don't put a benchmark for at least neutralize at least minimum 20 of these terrorist forces them way they work for inside our territory. More nobody even go far. We already take out almost about 14 already. So make una know say we will win La Republique. We will defeat them because this war they cannot defeat us militarily. They don't choose the option of a war, and a war we will fight them. No be war we will choose them, but a war we will need for fight them. I go come for that one, but I want to first say bravo to the Bamenda Brigade. I also want to salute our soldier them, the stabilization force where they don't enter for inside Libya them with blood for eye. They enter for inside Libya them with blood for eye. then be led by one of our big General Sumanguru, when our supreme is saying General Sumanguru me lead any team for front. No, na man we need to laugh. Na man we need to laugh. So the end of inside Lebialem, La Republic, they abandoned 2 of their military posts and they run. I think we don't see footage is the way they come from Lebialem there. I go see like show this one, even though I don't publicize them for some bad way. This is said they don't begin pack brassaris mimbo for inside the we don't tell and say now the law for the land they apply. Me no man no say contraband for inside Ambazonia. Now the video footage and these
today the
come for there.
26 February 2021. Na visiam na brasserie product this for inside Lebialem. Na visiam na the Ankamanto forces and this the day out for make sure say me they put order.
So this one our force them they make sure say that they enforce all the revolutionary law them way would not put up a ground zero for safeguard our integrity and for safeguard the interest of our people then. And brassaries, the ban for brassaries mean but them now a very tactical instrument for we for emancipate ourselves and for separate ourselves from La Republic, as this brings them as well. It give them now the family the way them be behind brassaries for La Republic. Now top family them for inside Mr. Paul Biya when now them be the key benefactor them for this colonization of our territory. So it be very critical. Make all man stop for sell brassaries. Make all man stop for drink brassaries. We know the pressure where the enemy they put on for our people them, but they must resist. They must resist until independent it comes. So there are other issues than they were. I will bring an off now, but today specifically we want to talk now about the issue for diplomacy, and I go feel up my phone line. It will be open for any man where call. You want call, you have call anytime. I mean, my phone number that way there for the now it is for down here. You have call anytime for WhatsApp. Or I go feel answer on a call. Make we talk. But first, I will give you now a diplomatic roundup. Many things then the way then they go on. Where our diplomacy they run the brief we but we never get chance for inform una, and it be very tough. I go on for take una for go for the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom they go to take over the chairmanship for the United Nations Security Council. Now one of a very crucial institution them aside from the International Criminal Court where you get the power for mitigate about the legality and legitimacy of our quest for self-determination, to exert our sovereignty and our independence. That body is a very important body where if they carry our matter go for they go fit decide whether an occupation, na colonization, if na a matter of failed decolonization, we believe na say it be, and then they go fit take remedy them where it go fit give our people them the deserving freedom the way they deserve them. So I go bring the footages, I go play them, make una hear the presentation with the United Kingdom, their representative when I go be the chair on behalf of the United Kingdom for the United Nations, for she done for that chair as the chairman for chair the Security Council. A briefing, he answer question the way it pertain to our cause. And when I see the same things that they go throughout from Germany, from UK, from France, from the United States, more and more executive branch, legislative branch, they pick up our matter. So I go bring up that video in a while, but I go want to make an opening statement where I go address the topic for today, where now the breaking of the fascist chain of new colonialism will be over Ambazonia. When I know, fellow Ambazonian, say an independent quest no be a walk in the park, na a very tough journey where any people they take them, and no be an easy decision for any population for rise up for demand something like an independent. When I know say many African countries then where they don't go through colonization. Colonization be there for most of those countries for hundreds of years before they even decide to meet and fight for their freedom. And without reach to that point with La Republic, after 50 years of exploitation, we would rise up for demand our independence. Which way they make it be very difficult for any country for be independent. Now say they get a conspiracy in place. They get a system in place for the international community for benefit some big powers them where them be for make for keep we for the way we will be. So, but the thing we'll need for get hope for day. I go come with that. I'll present that conspiracy. Anyway, let me ma do one right away without much ado. Ma do go for day. This document what I want put na part of a report from court documents and from France for the defunct elf. I dey talk in view of the fact say when I go to hear more directly from European people them as when I hear from Americans them regarding their own suggestion for solution for this our war. And when I hear, I think the traitor speaks of Chris Arno, they interview Mr. Hoffman when a very important personality we would engage you also diplomatically regarding our independence, a strong advocacy for freedom when a German parliamentarian. He don't talk certain things that will be very, very crucial. And I will come for that one very soon. So maybe we know what. But this document, na a document from ELF. I want to give una physical evidence for which way we talk. So that maybe una know say we know the can talk out of thin air, they make story them for the encourage una way, not in order for the base, we need for make sure so una know what we would think am. From this document from ELF, we commander from court case, we for France, one the Charles de Gaulle, you get a group of party them. They like na society for France. They call them the Gaullists. The Gaullists, I forget that name. You get Jacques Chirac, Mitterrand, all of their party them na part of that coalition. They get a secret agreement, a secret hold on Africa, and they use their multinationals like an extension of the French Republic's foreign policy for Africa. So they will use ELF, when a defunct company, for collect money and for maintain their colony them. For they get kickbacks from the dictators and where they maintain them for Africa, where they support them politically. They do political donation. So this ELF na physical evidence, well documented reality of wetin wey the France be dey do am and how wey they be dey do am for exploit we for Africa. And we dey see am say today you still get Boulois wey na one of those agent dem for the French Secret Service wey dem get connection. From this document, you will see say even the president of Germany at that time, he be connected to this scheme for exploit the riches of Africa for the benefit of European companies, not even the people of European companies and the political parties in Europe that maintains the status quo in Africa. So this document, according to this document, if you read the document, maybe I'll post them later on for people the way they want to read more. They feel read more. From this document, it is show how the French government and how the whole this thing be fall down. Now because say a new French government president become, where if the fear say the opposition they will continue for get money for Africa, they will win the campaign. Because how the African leader they give back the money for the French them. Now say they go take when they take that money for corruption, they go put them for French banks, for banks and way these people the way they benefit from. Now they get them. They collect the money when they can't give them that money for foreign aid, then give them money for buy petrol, put them for those banks the way they claim say they represent the states. Those money they go stay for big hotel them, spend huge sum of money, the extravagant money they pay them for hotels, buy cars beyond market prices as a way for give direct corruption, indirect corruption to corrupt those individuals. And all political parties and for Europe to some extent be the benefit from these kickbacks. They be the few the manager them for ELF and company them like Boulois be the also exploit them, and they be beyond above the law. They be fit do whatever they be fit do them until these court cases they become. He expose that corruption, then clean up themselves, then destroy the company ELF and they close shop, but they never go back for Africa for dismantle the president them way they be keeping for Africa, me they help them for exploit Africa. So basically, the system is still being exploited, but like people like Boulois, and you get now the people of HD where the one can take over the seaport and many companies them like that. So these are facts. These are not conspiracy. These are facts well documented. And thank God, say God time is the best. Now with the say Emmanuel Macron, he don't come for power. Now a young man, he be part of the system, he benefit from the system, but because of their own fight for political power, then now they expose and put into scrutiny for the French courts, will be largely independent. The corruption where they go on. So they don't call right now Boulois a case they go on. And they don't put them an open case where you go likely go for prison. This case for Boulois give a big potential for dismantle and directly affect the support system and network where the French government, their secret service, and their multinational, they don't put them for sustain dictators and dictator regime like that of Paul Biya. So this one is very big news. My boss is calling me. Hello, boss. Sorry for that interruption. That was my boss. Yeah. See my work, even my job, they miss me. Apart from my picking them. So, fellow Ambazonian, I did explain for one which way to go on because this is very relevant to what is going on and to the mafia, so that you guys will understand and have in perspective what is really going on in our country today. So you have to know that the French Secret Service, they are involved in these things. The French multinationals are involved in the diplomacy. So these are the key players. The scheme is being dismantled. It is almost impossible for get countries like UK, France, to a very large extent, American, their executive branch, for support our independence because it will go against their interests way for France. Nevertheless, it is possible, and I will tell you why and how will it be possible and our roadmap for our independence. And at the same thing, with many countries that don't get their independence. Independence not be a walk in the park, as Dr. Cho Idi talk, but a very, very big and present thing where we need to get them and we get the golden chance. When I see from the beginning of this struggle, a lot of diplomats, and for America in particular, they don't come out talk say, if Mr. Paul Biya continue with this terrorism tactics and this policy for war, Cameroon will separate. They don't talk clear many times. I don't need for stress them. The CIA, their report also, it don't actually state very clearly how that separation if it take place. When we be mobilized and when we get a single leader who if it governize us, we will have our independence. And this is the time for us to have our independence. Because our people, they don't get enough and not time for them to break. But before I digress, make a focus on the script for today. So I don't show now the web way they don't use them for whole way. Now economic interests where they directly benefit political parties in Europe, not only in France, in France mainly in our case, but in Europe at large. And they get kickbacks from people like Paul Biya. The money is coming, is flowing. And the CEO that manage those money is usually people like Boulois, or like the case for ELF, the general manager of ELF, where they also become extremely wealthy and extremely powerful and even above the law. But the law is catching up with them right now because we don't internationalize our struggle, and it is also God's time, God's choosing time for our freedom. So, which way it happen, I say, The only shot we will get them forget our independence. Like the South Africans, the only shot where they be get them forget their for win apartheid was not that they could convince the British government, because the British government rejected them. They said they should stay there. The American government said they should stay there. All of those countries that end up granting South Africa victory against apartheid told them that they are terrorists. They should just shut up, accept their reality to live in an apartheid system. The same with Southern Sudan. The Americans, the French, the British government, all of those executive branches. America is not just the government. Joe Biden. You get Joe Biden represent the executive branch. So in this case, most of those countries, they represent their policy, they be represented by the executive branch. So it is almost, we cannot expect the French or the British people to just come and support our independence. But there are ways that we can get there. And that is the way Dr. Chuayaba of the Governing Council's vision have put this roadmap before us. First, we need to make our territory ungovernable, delegitimize the occupier, and take ownership and exert our right of sovereignty, which is exactly what we are doing. Cameroon government cannot win us. The Europeans, the international community, cannot accept the policy of subjugation to be used in any country in this era. We live an era where, during the time when the campaign concerning the use of forced labor for Vietnam, for China, a forced company them for shut their line of production because their citizens say we cannot buy goods made of blood money. We cannot buy goods that are produced by slave labor. So there is a human heart out there. There is empathy out there, not from the governments, but from the civilians. So the whole point about gunship diplomacy from the Governing Council, now for target these parliamentarians, for go directly to the people of this country, the community leaders, engage them, for them to know the reality of our pain, the reality of our subjugation, the reality of occupation, and it yield fruit. Because then now they see the reality of Mr. Paul Biya, an act of war. Mr. Paul Biya then successfully for a while for use enablers and undercovers for carry out atrocity in the name of Ambazonia, so that it would dilute and it would stop the international community for realize the true nature of the beast, the true nature of the occupation that is yielding money to the French parliamentarians, is yielding money for the French political parties, that money is tainted with the blood of pregnant women that are being slaughtered alive in Africa, of villages being burnt, and the population being driven out of their homeland. They are seeing it, and they are cracking. That's why you see from UK to Britain, the parliamentarians are saying this is enough, enough is enough. What the hell is going on? Even in La République, there are parliamentarians today who are saying this is not acceptable. Citizens are coming up. Chutang, Bernard, they are talking. You cannot continue to kill people like that. And on our part, we cannot accept the reality of our colonization in the wake of the killings as well. How can we accept, after the restoration law, to live with La République du Cameroon, where when they come to unite with us, we were Southern Cameroon, they were La République. They say, let us become federal, unitary. Now they have gone back to La République. How can we accept? We cannot accept that. How can we accept to live with a country when our own history is banned, is forbidden, is criminalized? Where to say that you are from Ambazonia becomes a capital punishment. It becomes a terrorism. Where they will arrest journalists and activists like Mancho BBC for protesting about roads and taking across the Mongo into their own prison and sentence him for life. Where they are going to cross into Nigeria and kidnap refugees and bring and charge them for subvention. How can we accept where they will dismiss even someone like Abobala from the university, who have made a deal with them, who want to just talk about the Anglophone problem, and he will be fired from the work? How can we live in a situation where they will force us to speak French, bring us fake decentralization in this year of enlightenment, especially when we are entitled, when we have the feeling of entitled and our nationalism. We cannot accept anything less than our full right, the recognition of our sovereignty and our right of self-determination for us to decide the fate of our nation. So we cannot accept any other thing. We cannot surrender. We cannot yield. We must resist, because all this injustice that I have named have become a policy, a law in La Republique. And as Honorable Weber, if it be quoted, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. It is our duty to resist. It is our sacred duty to finance and support the armed resistance for the freedom of our people from Cameroon terrorism, occupation, subjugation, assimilation. We have to resist to preserve our human dignity, our basic human rights, rights that have been acknowledged as the foundation, as cardinal laws for human cohesion, for peaceful coexistence. For those who think and make the case that our territory is too small, they have to consider that we are bigger than many European countries like Monaco, Switzerland. We are a striving people, a diverse people, the first African self-governing territory that have practiced democracy and peaceful transition of power. We must fight and we must resist. So, ladies and gentlemen, the international community, the people of the world are hearing our case. The Americans have finally understood and accept the reality that this is not just a domestic issue. This is an international issue that affects the livelihood of Americans. And now the Senate have passed a resolution that we are hoping for Joe Biden to sign into law, that is going to make the Americans to understand that they have an interest in stopping this war, because our refugees are now coming into their territory, flooding their economy when they need recovery. It is a domestic issue for the Americans. It is a domestic issue for Europeans. The parliaments are making that case. And that is the only case that can overturn this web of the executive branch of those governments who are engaged in the exploitation of our resources for their political benefit. The parliamentarians such as Nadab are speaking out, and I'm going to play some of the videos so that you get updates, understanding of the trend of the diplomatic train. But one thing should remain in your mind: we must resist. We cannot accept an unjust relationship with our neighboring country, La Republique. We cannot accept that they are going to keep our territory without our consent. We cannot accept to be a subjugated people whose history have been banned, who have no basis for constitutional nationalism, to live in a country that have violated the restoration law as advocated and well articulated by Fongodi Dinka. We, the never again generation, as articulated by Dr. Cho Ayaba, will not accept anything other than complete freedom and independence of our territory. We must fight and give our people that chance to win. So I will going to keep my closing statement later. My phone line is open. Anybody can call at any time within the show, because now I'm going to show a series of video to update you about what have been going on diplomatically. So the video I'm going to show now is a video I wanted to show for a while. It's a presentation of the United Kingdom representative of the United Nations Security Council on the issue of the Ambazonian War of Liberation. Forgive my background because I did not bring my blue piece, so you cannot find it. So this is the United Kingdom's representative speech to the United Nations Security Council. It is going to give you people a window of what to expect from his language and the language of the diplomats from the UK, and our approach and the pressure being applied through the parliamentarian for the United Kingdom to see the reality of our occupation, to see the reality of the genocide that is being used to keep and maintain the status quo, and to know that after Rwanda, they cannot sit by and allow their government to participate and facilitate, to turn a blind eye, but they have to force their government to change course and impose sanctions on Mr. Paul Biya. So before this video play, I want just to tell you people to understand what happened on Chris Ano's show. People like Chris Ano, who have become part of that web, hired agents of the HD, that are speaking for the consensus to keep us hostage. They have become an outlet for the world to speak to us and to tell us that they want us to surrender and accept decentralization. That is what happened there. Mr. Hoffman is a good man and he speaks from the heart. That is the position of the European. That is the position of convenience. And they are speaking to us. And Chris Anu is there to facilitate us to understand, like the type of people that come to his show, that we have to yield, we have to surrender, we have to negotiate, because that is the understanding that that group have. But my people, I want to tell you, our path for independence remains a domestic issue. It is up to us to demonstrate to the world that we have evolved as human beings. We recognize and we feel the pain of the assault of Cameroon, and we will not accept, and we are ready to resist forever. We are ready to die for, and we are ready to kill La Republique for our freedom. Until we send that message to the international community, they will keep on asking us, because there are those in the political party that they want them to be on the seat on that negotiation table. There are those who are going to accept for them to be on that negotiation table, because the understanding, as you know very well, is that such negotiation have one conclusion: decentralization. The Swiss negotiation, as it is, have one destination: decentralization. Decentralization is not something we can accept. We will never surrender our right of security to a foreign government. We can never allow La Republique to have any say in our decision on where we want our country to go. So let Chris Ano know, no, they cannot convince us. They cannot. You remember what Obama said? For any popular uprising to succeed, the population have to make it impossible for politicians to cut deals. We have to make it impossible. We have said that we will not live together with La République du Cameroun after the assault, after the attempted genocide that is going on now, the genocide going on. With the killings and the sacrifices we have been forced to make, we cannot be with them. It is resistance forever. The international community will wake up to the fact that when a people have decided the way we have, because of the pain and the suffering we have endured, there is no other option but to tell Mr. Paul Biya that the only way you can keep these people is through killing all of them, because truly 99% of them want freedom. Are you going to allow him to do that? They have to come to the conclusion that if they don't stop Biya, we will not stop. Biya is going to kill everybody. Are they going to sit by and watch it? That is a question that is in their conscience, and it is their choice to make. We are not backing down. We are not blinking. We will fight. We are becoming more lethal, and we have to do what it takes to send that message across. So let's listen together to this presentation by the United Kingdom representative, who is going to chair the United Nations Security Council on behalf of the United Kingdom. Let's go on.
Thank you. And we too worry about the conflict in Cameroon. The British High Commission in Cameroon tweeted on January 13th that the UK is deeply concerned about the death of civilians in an incident in southwest Cameroon on January 10th. This was one of several such events over the years. The tweet called for, I quote, an urgent and impartial investigation, and that the perpetrators must be brought to justice. My question is, will the UK use the United Nations Security Council presidency to make sure that such an investigation is truly impartial? And how else will the UK act to secure that the Security Council plays a role in the conflict situation in Cameroon? Thank you.
Thank you. Ambassador, we go back to you.
Thank you very much for those questions. So, on Iran and the JCPOA, you will have seen the UK through the last year really express and remain steadfast in its commitment to the JCPOA as the best way of preventing Iran from gaining, a nuclear weapon, which is, I think, the thing that
you go to southern Cameroon very soon.
Most of the members of the JCPOA more than anything else. And with our colleagues, the French and the Germans, we held a clear E3 position on that throughout, and that position hasn't changed. We hope that the US will rejoin the JCPOA, and we call on Iran to uphold its commitments and to re-enter nuclear compliance, which, let's remember, is not simply what the JCPOA says, but it's also what international.
They are talking about Iran. He's going to come to
now,
question.
On the question of what happens next. I mean, we are in.
So he will go to Cameroon,
still
where our matter is.
Less than a week, am I right? Since they took office. But it will be.
So the person you're watching,
it will be. It's obviously clearly high on their agenda. I don't think
is the representative of the United Kingdom
need any help finding
to the United Nations Security Council.
Details, and they will be no doubt speaking to each other and finding a way through to do so. Where I think the rest of the JCPOA participants can help is by supporting those conversations. And by encouraging as we are that there should be a way forward found and through all this, but I can't really do more at this moment than to say we really do believe that the key to this, and we certainly call on the Iranians not to take further steps on nuclear non-compliance and not to enter a game of brinkmanship. On that,
I cannot forward it because I don't know what minute, but it is going to start right away.
This is a time for everybody to take the heat out of the situation and start talking. So that's what we would hope to see. On Cameroon's an issue which we've been discussing in the council now for a while, and I think it's first of all, to very clearly state the UK's position, which I think you probably know. But
so, he could talk about the United Kingdom position on the whole conflict between Ambazonia and Cameroon. But for the moment, at least I will break them down small detail now, which we talk, especially for all our country people, as 90% of one of the year, which are the talk better than which we talk, but if we get a sense because they talk for English. So, he talk for they say they don't already discuss the issue between us and Cameroon for the United Nations Security Council in the corridor, as we don't always inform una. Most of those conversations then they need to leak them, but definitely they call on France and Cameroon for a long time. Me then stop for kill people them anyhow. Me then stop all the atrocity the way they do them, because if they make a suited then go open that fire, Cameroon go lost case. Now the thing in that way then they go on. When I go here for your own mob. Make I play the video, maybe wanna hear.
This is a time for everybody to take the heat out of the situation and start talking. So that's what we would hope to see. On Cameroon's an issue which we've been discussing in the council now for a while, and I think it's first of all to very clearly state the UK's position, which I think you probably know, but which is that the attacks on civilians are a great concern. That I think, as the government itself has acknowledged, finding a way through this has got to involve understanding and responding to the legitimate issues expressed by the Anglophone areas, while at the same time absolutely fully supporting the territorial integrity of Cameroon.
So now the official position that for the UK government represented by the Gordon Brown's administration, when I know say a government gets several branches where they express and they represent the same country. So the executive branch na be the outlet for foreign policy, and their position I say they don't agree. They don't agree. Say the killing of humanitarian of civilians, the atrocity to them. He gave a stop. My play him again once.
The government itself has acknowledged finding a way through this has got to involve. I think it's first of all to very clearly state the UK's position, which I think you probably know, but which is that the attacks on civilians are of great concern. That
Okay, this will be very important. Why are the one replay them? Now, Sadamu wanna get the truth and the perfect assessment as this platform and we and Lucas, the governing council as a whole, were objective. Nasemu will be very honest with our people and ourselves. So the UK, their position, now say that it is not acceptable the killing of civilians. It is not acceptable to kill civilians, and this is the position of this is the policy of the Cameroon government. Killing of civilians. They don't cover up them for a while, but now you get the Human Rights Watch and many other organizations that they come out for indict them for targeting civilians with the disguise that they work and carry out an operation against the so-called Amber boys, like the killing for Bamenda, the killing for Pinying, the killing for Kwakwa, the killing for Etam. All the shows that the Cameroon government get a systemic policy with their soldier them they implement them for ground zero when for kill civilians them. If the Cameroon presidency they support this thing where they do them, they know for the level me they go with impunity. They know for this they know for the punish the soldier the way they be involved. But the fact that they are military spokesperson, it become claim say the civilian then we all man know without any dispute say na civilian the way they kill them, it call them a terrorism. It shows say na a systemic policy for the Cameroon government for target anybody where Eastern say be Ambazonia for kill them, like the pastor where they kill them for Maoto. So it is without a doubt that the Cameroon government in war they target na anybody we want say he want independent. Like how they target people the way they close their shop, how they target man way either hoist flag. So it not be acceptable for the United Kingdom as it explain them, and the Cameroon government they don't transmit them for them. May we continue.
I think as the government itself has acknowledged, finding a way through this has got to involve understanding and responding to the legitimate issues expressed by the Anglophone areas, while at the
So the Cameroon government either accept for the discussion the way they get them for inside Security Council where it not be made public according to the disclosure from this official when a top official where they represent the United Kingdom. The Cameroon government that accepts say the need for address the legitimate issue we would not raise them as the so-called Anglophones. And when I know the issue the way the common law they don't raise them, we don't know the issue the way the consortium if we don't put them for them for table. And when I know their response it not be na for in support for address those issues, but na instead for insult the people. When I hear people them independent speakers them like the one the way they talk about Equinox, where they address the whole issue for the traditional council where they don't put them. Now a fake traditional council where no get no power. They actually reflect our people, their aspiration and their demands. Not get no power for make legislation that just a toilet tissue where Mr. Paul Biaran put down for blindfold the international community. It not meet even the standard of his own opposition party, the way it pay them. The so-called freedom for our education system. They don't instead make them worse by transferring the GCE board for La Republique. So the issue for bilingualism, even for the nations covered and play them, they still talk their French. Now for sure we say these people them they no fit address and they no want for address them. Whatever they discuss them for the way now the truth this way they face with now, Now say the international community don't tell them, say, you really cannot do this, you cannot have solve this problem without solving these real problems. And we will know say the real solution for all these symptoms them now our independence. Because La Republique, if he actually solve this problem, then he no go be capable for thief our money, because the relationship now for thief our money, for thief our resources. Because if he actually decentralize and then give we real power for control our resources, we go the one for know how much petrol they come up for our land, how much timber they come off our land, how much tea, how much cocoa, how much all those things them, so that an arrangement, a formula will never share the resources them. But this is not possible. That is the reality, because Cameroon now a part and parcel of the French conspiracy for continue for exploit Africa. As the document were ran show now for elf in the talk. These are the realities. These are not imaginations. So make we continue for here. I will break them down as time they go. For the meantime, my phone line will be on for any caller. I know say it will be important for for listen. It also be important for we for get feedbacks them as well.
Time, absolutely fully supporting the territorial integrity of Cameroon. And
so the UK, their position, I said they support the territorial integrity for Cameroon. This territorial integrity for now, it be seen as the whole Cameroon will be recognized, will include Ambazonia. Our contest will be legitimate under international law, the same law than we at the foundation, the cardinal laws chapter of the United Nations. It put Ambazonian sovereignty out of Cameroon jurisdiction, even if, like Dr. Cho Idan clearly articulate them, they don't take the jury situation into de facto the situation. That means say, as we don't stay with them for the long time, they don't assume some familiarity, they don't assume say we don't become one. It no see being say as a matter of law will be one. And even if that is the case, it goes the fact say they go accept say will be one, it go also accept the fact say na two separate entity them be, where each of those entity then get the right for make a choice whether they want for be together or not. So in whatever case you look at the argument, our argument in contesting Cameroon's sovereignty over our territory is a stronger case, and there have been no case that is stronger that have been advanced in this regard. So maybe we'll continue.
We've been sort of supporting as well the UN in their efforts to work with the government, as well as working with the government directly, to try and foster some of the dialogue and approaches that we're seeing. I think.
So what you people should understand is that behind the corridor where we do not publicize, the UK, the Security Council, have been supportive of the talks about negotiation that have been going on with the aid of C through the United Nations. As soon as I hear those talks that be declassified, the Ambazonian Governing Council be for a long time with direct engagement with the United Nations, the big office then for the Secretary General, as well as the office for the Central African region, for directly talk for them about this case. At the end of the day, the Cameroon government, if it pull out of that conversation on bogus reason, will be negotiate for Ambazonian independence in the rightful way, in a fora way, if we guarantee a positive outcome vis-a-vis our independent quest. Will not be the good do a side talk where if we can play we like this one where they go organize and where they bribe people them. But this one be been a real conversation with an institution where you get the power, you get the possibility for bring them for table for place where it will be enforceable. For a negotiation where the Cameroon for pull out once they commit for the actual process where for being at the real negotiation. So that negotiation it don't come to an end as the governing council it don't talk, because Cameroon can make a bogus reason say action where they go do one for whatever. I think when I know maybe we'll continue.
Concern would be that words must be matched by actions. That it's not enough simply to announce different commissions or approaches or ways forward. That has to translate into real action on the ground. And my concern around
So, which way did they talk? The UK, their head for the Security Council, they talk. Now say it not be enough for Pobia for talk about there is this initiative for dialogue going here, where there need to be an actual dialogue going. That one, these are consensus and these are position where it be important for our people for know. Say the UK now their position than this.
Cameroon is always the risk of a miscalculation suddenly leading to an escalation from either side, because we've seen some pretty terrible things being done by the armed groups, including on schools. We know there are, exploitation of those groups and some criminal exploitation as well.
So, what's the way the United Nations they talk with the United Kingdom, their representative they talk. Now say them be aware. Say some people then they for diaspora where they exploit the groups them for ground for personal money. I think that one be clear. Sako the case be na a scandal for the international community for see say people then they for America they raise money, they collect money even for Swiss. These things are well known. That is why the United Nations, I will not say, I will not politicize negotiation, but the international community understand, say, some faction there for this was struggle where they exploit the fighting for their personal wealth, like the embezzlement and the scandal of my trip to Boya, with soldiers being called to rally behind a group, the ACS, the ASC, and that did not have the fundings, and they forced these soldiers to go into so-called LGA by county camps, and they were slaughtered. So the international community are very aware. Even when I went to Basque, I can assure you that people know that Sako is exploiting the revolution for his personal wealth. They have seen somebody who did not even have papers in America use money from the struggle to pay lawyers and have his paper, change his house, buy cars. They have seen their lifestyle changes without any source of income. And they are very much aware about the background of everybody in this struggle. And he speaks to that. So people have to know that these things are not hidden.
And we've also been quite concerned by issues of humanitarian access and other things. So I think the space we're in on Cameroon is very much urging, that there is a non-violent solution, and that solution has to involve some of the legitimate aspirations and concerns of the people in those areas.
So wait where they talk now say they must agree. They don't agree. Say this one a fact. There must be that negotiation somehow, somewhere. So make man no fear. They understand already. We just need to do what we have to do, and we don't need to worry about will there be negotiation or not. Everybody, as we can hear from you, what they understand what is going on. The international community, they know what is happening.
It's only by bringing the sort of, the majority of the people on those areas on board that you're able to isolate and remove the violent element, which of course I think everybody completely condemns.
So which way they talk and say there is a need to create an atmosphere where the conflict between Ambazonia and Cameroon can be solved through negotiation. This can mean anything. In the case of Bongasville, one of the countries that have just voted for its independence through a referendum, they were also in a war with New Papua Guinea, like we are. They did not have arms. It was a very violent war, very, very similar case with ours. In that case, the United Nations, they pushed for a solution for a ceasefire with an engagement for a future referendum where there was a cessation of hostility and ceasefire and stuff like that. But it came with that package and that ability for the international community to enforce. So there are many type of scenario that can come up. I think the governing council will be, Dr. Chua have said that as we get to stabilization, he will be talking about this type of things, because we are now in complete state of hostility and war with Cameroon. There is no direct negotiation going on that I am aware of or that is available for the public knowledge. What we know is that Mr. Pobia have chosen the path of war, and that is against all the international communities, the international partners of the Ambazonian people, and the international partners of La Republique. The Vatican have told him and told the Cameroon government that you cannot continue to kill and fight against civilians in the name of fighting against terrorism is not acceptable. The French government is coming under pressure from their parliament to say the same. The UK government is coming under pressure from their parliament to do the same, and the executive branch have said that it is not sustainable. The Americans have actually adopted the resolution that makes this issue a domestic issue for the Americans and make it an international issue. So this is where we are, and this is why it is so important for our people to get into full military gear, full combat. We have to knock Cameroon the hell out of our place. We have to provide the weaponry, the RPG, the bullets. We have to put more bullets and bombs. We promise you people, you are seeing the result on the ground. We can now take out the armored car and all those things. It's very important that we have to tell Mr. Pobia, we will be beating your ass in our territory. We have to. So our benchmark in the Savannah state this month was for 20 terrorist forces neutralized. In the Atlantic state, it was 15. And we are building the capacity to do that, to do just that. We have opened a camp in Dian and in Tinto. How did they call that place again? And some area, I will not call those particular areas, but our youth should continue to reach out for them to have the training and the equipment they need to fight for our liberation and fight for our freedom and stop Cameroon impunity in carrying out their genocide, their acts. So let us continue.
It's not on the agenda for our Security Council, but I can say that one of the things we want to do during our time on the Council as President is to get the Council to focus a little bit more on conflict prevention. Now, conflict prevention is, of course...
So, our case, no day for the agenda for the United Kingdom. The UK do not intend to pursue our matter as a major issue in the United Nations Security Council, which the diplomats are working to change that. Their option right now is to use another approach, which is what he is going to explain. Remember, I'm giving you just presentation of the reality that is going on, and it is our work to change it, and we are doing just that. So even the way things are, I think you can still gain a lot in terms of knowledge and adjust your posture. I will rewind it a little bit and then let you get exactly what is going on.
For our Security Council. But I can say that one of the things we want to do during our time on the Council as President is to get the Council to focus a little bit more on conflict prevention. Now, conflict prevention is, of course, something we all talk about, and the UK is very focused on. I will say that, how can I put this politely, sometimes our colleagues are more willing to talk about conflict prevention as a theory than they are to talk about it in its practical implication in specific context. And we would like to try and work with council members on how we can create a space where it is, okay and safe for countries to feel they can talk about areas that we're worried about an incipient conflict.
Okay. One of the area where France they be worried about, and I say if they bring up the conflict of sovereignty for inside the Security Council, because Security Council is like court. You know, if you go to court where you know if you go to court use now photocopy them, you must bring original document. So Cameroon and France they always try to tell and say they don't want anything come for that level because if you come for that level, it means I say there are already grants Ambazonia independent. Because when they talk to me, Cameroon bring the marriage certificate. Marriage certificate no good day. Whether marriage certificate in this case na union treaty. So they need to be comfortable. Because of that, they stop any conversation about the crisis for the Security Council already. So the approach right now being favored by the United Kingdom now instead for invoke the right of protection where you go invoke direct confrontation of the issues of this conflict. They want to use the approach when at the prevention of conflict. For preempt say there will be a conflict, we are already in the conflict. That is not very fair, just, but it also still create a space where they could talk about issues without necessarily, like if it was a full session on this issue under the Security Council, where they will have to examine this issue in the light of remedies, in light of consequences of they call it equi jus equi remedium. This principle were applied. They want to create a space where they can talk about it without necessarily saying like if they discover that Cameroon is occupation, they will have to say, okay, it's an occupation, you cannot occupy. But they can actually look in remedy in a much more sublime manner. Even this is also very, very good, because it may, if they see that, okay, this have a potential to turn into a genocide, which is a genocide in our perspective. If it gets to that point where they say this have a potential to get into a genocide, because if Mr. Pobia says he is going to kill everybody who says he is Ambazonia, and there are evidence that majority of these people says that they are Ambazonia, it means that there is a potential of genocide. So let us prevent it before it happens, which for us it is happening already. In that case, there will, let me just play along the video so that you hear from him.
And therefore the steps that might need to be taken, particularly in collaboration with some of the regional partners, because there is unfortunately a certain stigma associated with a council discussion on an issue. And my challenge to my colleagues is, how do we do conflict prevention without stigma? It ought to be self-evident and obvious that the council, the Security Council, the body tasked by the globe to uphold international peace and security, should be doing everything within its power to prevent conflict reaching its agenda. So how we make a reality of that, when quite often when we do want to talk about an issue where we are getting worried, there is a sort of groundswell of desire to avoid the council discussing it because of the risk that this makes a country sort of look bad or whatever might come. And that's something we want to try and talk to our colleagues about. It's quite hard in the COVID context, because I think actually...
So now the reality that of which we would explain now, there are issues there with, I get a message, I'll reply the message later. So
one of the most successful conversations of that sort are held in person, behind closed doors, and without the lights on. I mean, not literally without the lights on, but without the TV lights on. One person per country, the PRs coming together to have frank conversations. So we will see what we can do on.
We have...
So what he done talking, I said, this is what the UK is planning to do already. They are going to bring up this issue of our war with La Republique in not in the Security Council setting where you have the open council discussion with cameras, like the Security Council handles things, like you have seen previous Security Council meeting on issue like Iraq, Iran, and many other conflict area where you can watch them on TV. But they are going to bring it in a fora where it is on the approach will be for conflict prevention. And there you have them to be able to bring in the Cameroon representative, bring in the French, and let them cross-examine them, and they will discuss things without without camera behind closed door. So
9 minutes left, and we have 10 more questions.
I can go a bit longer, Pablo.
Okay.
The questions.
Thank you very much.
When I fall over, then you have to count me out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for that. So let's just do something a bit different. Just take 4 questions for this round. We'll start with Louise Winstanley, and please let me ask my colleagues to be clean and straight to the point so we can get many questions in. Louise.
Thank you very much. I'll just turn my camera on. There we are. Yes. First of all, I'd really like to thank the UK for the work it's done as pen holder for the verification mission for Colombia. And my question really relates to Colombia. You'll know well the situation of violence towards human rights defenders, former paramilitary groups.
Let me forward it where they are talking about us.
Established organization.
Yes.
Has suggested.
Juan Berrios.
Good morning, everybody.
Juan, I think we're having problems hearing you. Your connection is choppy. Can you maybe yes, mute your video and let's see if this helps. Okay, thank you.
Yes, good morning, Ambassador and everybody. My name is Juan Berrios. Comisión para los Derechos Humanos del Estado Zulia. My question is about Venezuela. As you may know, this year started with an increase in the persecution and attacks against civil society and human rights defenders.
So, fellow Ambazonians, those are the footages. I think there are two more questions. They asked follow-up question on our case there again. So I want to give you guys full disclosure, full information, so that you can know that you are on solid ground, and it can make you not to be feeble or fall easily when people come and push agenda upon you. So we also have had debate of the parliament of those countries telling their government and their executive branch their position is not compatible with their values. You cannot allow a country like Cameroon, the UK, that have had obligation on the British Southern Cameroon to allow this war to go on. You can't allow that. And I have seen the interview of Chris Ano and the other people, and what they are still doing, they are still working for the enemy. As beautiful as it sounds, the devil is in the details. You go and look at what Chris Ano is saying. He's directing our people to create antagonism with the Commonwealth and the United Kingdom and the British people for not helping us. Not us to challenge them and to advocate for them, to convince their people, but to ask Africans to rise up and fight against them, to reject them and all those animosity. Those are things meant to quench the desire of those parties to help us. What we need is to campaign, to reach out, as we are doing. That is what has brought us to this level. It is the engagement with the UK parliamentarian by the governing council and her partners that have informed them about the reality on the ground. It is those hard jobs that we need. The reality is clear. We don't have to fight people that we need something from them. There are things we can have for ourselves. There are other things we need from people. And we have to approach them with respect. And when they come to us, we are challenging them, not just for them to address us and give us the information, but we are taking our message to them, our entitlements to them, our rights to them. That is what it ought to be. So I'm going to play some couple of clips. I don't know if we have enough time. I know some people want to call. I've had few people have text messages. But this is the UK parliamentarian lawmaker raising our issue with the UK executive branch. I think we have seen this video already. But let me just play it a little bit.
Madam Deputy Speaker, just 5 days before the US Senate was attacked, they came together to approve a resolution co-sponsored by 20 senators from both parties, from Marco Rubio to Cory Booker. And it was about this, about the brutal campaign of subjugation by the French-speaking government in Cameroon against the country's English-speaking minority. The Senate
when I hear the reality of what is going, it is a brutal campaign for subjugation. That means Cameroon is fighting to subdue us and keep us as a subjugated people. That is not something we can accept or allow. We cannot live as a subjugated people. We can't. This is not because the honorable member have to say it with her words, but this is how we feel. And our feeling of being subjugated is real. The international community, in the Atlantic Charter, that is the basis for the United Nations creation, where the British government, led by Winston Churchill, and the American president, Winston, how do they call him? Is it Wilberforce, whoever the name was? They come and they acknowledge that when a people have developed into a state and a nation, that character, that inherent identity cannot be destroyed. As a matter of fact, they say that sovereignty cannot be destroyed. And on that basis, the world have found the formula of war peace through the war order of the United Nations. And that right also, the people of the Southern Cameroon must enjoy that right, and the United Nations, United States Kingdom must defend that right for our people as well. So the other video from the how do they call it? The UK government. I don't know if I have that video here. of the German government. I had to bring that debate where the German, I think I cannot find the file. I'll have to forward it from my phone, and then I'll play it. Where the German, Mr. Hoffman, the German government representative, was talking about our case in their parliament. So let me send it to the phone. Let me send it to the computer from my phone. There are two videos again I have to play. So I beg you for your patience. Just be patient a little bit with me. Okay, this one is ready. So this video, as you see from the video, this is the German oops, where is it? Sorry, I can't find it. Where are you? Okay, I guess this is the right one. I shouldn't play.
Schauen wir nach Kamerun. Der Präsident hat die Wahlen gefälscht, 300 Dörfer niedergebrannt, 4-jährige Kinder verkohlen, Hunderttausende sind auf der Flucht. Der 88-jährige alte Präsident Biya ist über 38 Jahre an der Macht. Was ist hier mit der Aufarbeitung des deutschen Kolonialismus, Herr Maas? Weder die Kanzlerin noch Sie, Herr Maas, für Sie ist das bisher kein drängendes Thema.
So this is Christopher Hoffman, who is talking in the German parliament, telling them that it is not acceptable for them to allow Mr. Paul Biya to continue doing what he is doing to the people of Ambazonia. That the German government should step in, put targeted sanction on Mr. Paul Biya and his cohort to stop and halt immediately their genocidal policies in Ambazonia, their act of terrorism in Ambazonia, to wage this subjugated war against our people. And the message is clear now around the world that Mr. Paul Biya should stop his genocide attacks upon our people. So there's one more video. I think you have watched this video from the French Parliament. Oops, why it's not going? I don't know why. There is one more video. I will want to share that video. It does not go around. So the international community, the consensus is coming around now that the United Nations have ceased this negotiation that was going on and everything have stopped. Practically, we are now in full war gear. Mr. Paul Biya have basically said that he's going to choose the way of war, and we have to fight the war and defend ourselves and our villages. And the international community is now facing the reality. That is why you don't see Cameroon government struggling to lie again about what is happening on the ground. They have choose to use war. They have choose to use bribery, as Dr. Cho have put it out there, choose to use bribery, and they are using people now like Success Congo propaganda to do their bidding, to try to convince the world that they can win us militarily. And we have to show the world that they cannot win us militarily. And you have seen they have gone to do propaganda. They go to Bui carrying, who does that? A military like Cameroon going to fight and then carrying guns to go and display on the ground and make propaganda video with their general. Who does that? That shows you the mind of those people. They don't have any credibility. They are losers and they will lose. They will end up in prison because this path that they have chosen is similar to the path that was chosen by Omar Bashir of Sudan. And how did that end with him? How did that end out? The war came to say that you have to stop killing the people in Darfur. And they came up with resolutions that targeted him. Arrest warrants were made against him. And he ended up withdrawing from Darfur with a very bad deal for Sudan. Southern Sudan is free today. They might have had some small skirmishes here and there, but the future of Southern Sudan is far more brighter with their own people governing their territory with their own culture and their own identity. A people who had less chances under international law to have their freedom and independence have succeeded in having that freedom and independence. So will Ambazonia with even a better case. So our people have to invest and support the ground action as the only path, because Mr. Paul Biya will use whatever he can to convince the international community that he can win us by the means of war, that he can disarm us by taking one general here and there and trying to disarm us. And they want to show that we are not a strong force on the ground. That is why it is very important for us to project and show to the world, like we did with the stabilization fund, that we are more stable, we are more organized, we are more structured and capable of providing law and order for our people, capable for being a responsible partners, not corrupt officials who just eat money. And when they go around, they will use some people to try to counter what we are doing. People whose motivation in their actions is there just to counter the ADF. They think that they have deceived them, that they are fighting against Ayabacho, against Capo Daniel, against this and that, because they think that our people are so stupid. But our people have to rise to the challenge and realize that what we are doing is not a projection of dominance over the other force. Of course, we are the strongest and the biggest force, and we don't seek to be displaying that on the faces of people. If we display that, is for our country and to make the world to realize that these are guys, we control areas on the ground, we are capable of solving the problems of Cameroon and beating them and make sure that they cannot govern our territory, they cannot exploit our territory, and the international community have no choice but to stand up for the principle for which the war peace have been kept together. Our people have fought for those countries. Our people are working within those countries. If they could stop buying goods from people who use slave labor, why would they want to eat our petrol from blood petroleum? So we have to make that case. We have to continue to fight. And I think that I'll leave it here, and the other materials we can do it later. And anybody who wants to call or have a question or a contribution, you can go ahead to call. And to the people in Ground Zero, this is bedroom, not bedroom. Let people not criticize me because I'm still in quarantine. So I'm doing this from my hotel room, and it's the way it is. So my line is open for calls. I can receive call now. And for all my country people and for Ground Zero, I call on the youth, in particularly for Victoria, me then get their training, me then get organized for liberate Victoria, for carry out strategic operations inside Victoria. We are also organizing the youth in Dian. If you are youth in Dian, try to contact us for mobilization, for training, for equipment to fight to liberate Dian. All the blocks are very important. These operations are going on. We will be pumping more and more resources also in Fako and in other strategic areas that we don't need to say, we don't need to talk about it. I also want to tell people I made a mistake when I was putting out the closure, the announcement of the closure of a road that we had maintained the closure for over years because of a strategic reason, and the Republic want to play a fast one on us, so we had to come up with that announcement. I think I made the mistake of calling the name of the location of Jakiri as being between areas that it wasn't. So apology to all my people. Berry Shay and all my people there, I greet you all. And that is it. And in our people who are in the great state of Bamenda, as we promised, we had delivered. I told you we are going to be using more surgical explosive devices in town. In Quen area, please be on the guard and stay at home, be vigilant. Wherever we want to see Cameroon military, make people they know gather for day, because that area don't turn a battleground. I also want to thank the Catholic Church, the Cathedral, as they be carry out this big mass, and will be done tell them say the mass will go ahead. They be talk to them get some humanitarian things the way they want share and for population, rice, hold them for farm, cutlass them. Will be talk say no problem. Nothing will go help our population during this wartime. The only condition we want and I say me they no allow a kelebe them Egyptian they me them come for church. Last time we are Tanga Jipo, he come for inside town, he come with a kelebe them bring them for church. We no be like him. That kind of thing they make people that can attack that area when a holy ground. So when I see how the church service pass a cathedral very peacefully, all Monday for day. Even some blackleg them for upstation, their woman they be there for day. No one call their name there. No man no disturb them because now it's time for worship. Would you respect church? Would you respect the house of God? Would you respect the mosque? Would you respect all religious authorities them for our area and traditional authorities them? So long as they respect the institutions and they respect the people them. So without any phone call, I think I will all man listen very attentively. I will call it a day. So thank you very much and stay strong. Our revolution is stronger than ever before. Please donate. Please donate. We are not donating up to 10% of our capability. It's not enough for you to listen to me and just be happy. I beg you, Papa, Mama, Sister, especially the one of the diaspora, we need the money over. Even I see the need. Sometimes we don't show you guys what is going on the ground, but I'll just show you, for example, just a small unit for small operation like that. These are granite going to being delivered to some unit, just one unit. These granules like that will go one operation like that, half can go. So we have to do this for a day. Imagine how many granules we have to send there. We have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and that money comes from nowhere. We don't have any source other than you. That's why the fundraising is a very sensitive area in our revolution. So donate. There are weapons being sent. We are sending weapons to various camps. I don't know which one I can show you people. But before I go, I'll put one video so that you guys should really be proud with our forces to see how diverse they are. So this is a video I want to play. They are from our force, the stabilization force, so that you guys can see how diverse our forces are. I think a lot of people miss this moment, so I'll bring it back. This is our force. This is the army on the ground. The Ambazonia Defense Forces. The army of the ground. The diverse force from all the various 13 states in Ambazonia.
From Libya, and I would like to greet my fellows Libyan people that I'll use the mother tongue. Yeah, I'm born in South Opera, and a struggle to Pumbe is a Sepema. A struggle Pumbe is the whole Ambazonia. So, Buna Shawinga, any weapon, you are now moving a struggle among the any weapon and total the Papa total. Pumba Zashi about the patient payment, but the struggle. The Pumeta. So, Buna Sata in Mola won't you allow it. Oh, the Muta that Sata Fima Shaw and I'm touching it up. And I show us.
Assalamu alaikum. Mido home na kala mo waria terrain de fuande. Vi ondo ya ko ai wa ta jojota do. Abre wata do mabre gote. To yino ya ore aba lo kamindo ide wala abre maya sosai. Kala mo waria terrain do fu. Mi ide on yara njam jo ya ta do ngam Ambazonia kam dum gote. Allah wadi na mo barka.
Stock hotels only. That is on our cat as I can't go. And but this is Kana, but it Kana is on. And Baka, niggas on Boba, cheap stock over me. I was to put the general about so. And with the Kana, you're going to say, I'm betting budget. I beg, was it the Kana, the God is a proponent, was it?
So that is your force, that is your army on the ground. That is a hope for Ambazonia, as General Mba Ayabo had predicted. The Ambazonia Defense Force is going to lead the charge into our capital city, Buea. We are going to take over our country. We are going to kick the colonizer away from our country, the Kelebes, the Egyptians. And it is a rally call for everybody to rise and vote. And if you're in the diaspora, please, I'm just appealing again once more to make sure that you support the forces. If you're in the village, you know those boys, you provide them with food and intelligence. Remember, in those days, our chiefs, our traditional palaces, they used to benefit from contribution from villagers. And those boys are living full-time as guerrilla fighters and and they need support. They need support. They need ammunition, and we are the ones who can do it responsibly. We are the ones who can do it responsibly. There are a lot of scammers out there. There are some forces that have been polluted with groups that seeks to politicize self-defense. And the Ambazonia Defense Forces remain the best way you can support every force, because we identify critical forces that are very active and that are proactive on the field, and we also support them. So God bless you. I think that I'm waiting for the signal. Okay, I've been cut off now from ACN, so it is now offline. I'm just on Facebook now. So God bless you. Have a good day. May our revolution be short. May our independent democracy, civil liberty prosper in an independent Ambazonia. God bless you. Ciao.